Bakit? Sino bang nasa mga sa? The session is resumed. The chair recognizes the gentleman from Cebu, Senator Vicente C. Soto III, on the privilege hour. But before that, can we ask for 1 minute suspension? I noticed that the majority leader is not around. Can you ask Alan? Nandiyan na? Where's Alan? Ha?
Nasa room pa niya, sir.
Can you ask him? Session is resumed. The Deputy Minority Leader is once more recognized on the privilege hour.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, my esteemed colleagues, I have 5 reasons for speaking today. Number 1, Bianca Fontejon, 18 years old. Number 2, Ken Migawa, 18 years old. Number 3, Ariel Leal, 22 years old. Number 4, Eric Anthony Miller, 33 years old. And 5th, Lance Garcia, 36 years old. They went to Unilever Philippines' event at the SM Mall of Asia open-air concert grounds in Pasay City for a party billed Close Up Forever Summer, Healthy and Alive, on May 21, 2016, Saturday. They left the scene dead or dying by 3 a.m. the following day. After many hours of hard partying with 14,000 ravers, with music mixed by famous DJs, surrounded by available alcohol, leisure shows, and much socializing, they suffered sudden unintended heartbeat acceleration and died. They experienced forever too soon, Mr. President. Sabi nga ng mga kabataan ngayon, anyari. Since the 5 fatalities were not victims of external violence, it stands to reason that their deaths were due to internal bodily causes. Since they were stricken at separate places around the whole area of the venue, it would be reasonable to assume that the general conditions that caused the tragedy were likewise all around. Teenagers and young adults are not usually victims of sudden heart attacks. Who or what is the villain in this tragedy? Mr. President, the usual suspects are drug pushers and ingestion of illegal drugs and substances as causes of their deaths. Topping the list of abused substances is methylene dioxymethamphetamine, or MDMA for short, otherwise known as ecstasy, or E, or X. Consider further the probability that partygoers could have been already high on other banned substances, such as the substance that I will be discussing shortly. As they came to party, add alcohol and non-stop jumping for hours, and you have right there a lethal mix. And boom, the party's over for 5 youths. Summer's gone, at mayroong forever at the cemetery. Today, I go further and identify an unusual suspect. At the risk of being tagged a killjoy by our own gym buffs, bikers, or sports enthusiasts, I have now come to a conclusion that there is a newcomer in the list of suspected killer substances when inhaled or misused. A well-known muscle pain killer that goes by the brand name of Wari Active. This is it, Mr. President. It is presently an over-the-counter commodity in our drugstores and even sold via the internet for approximately 750 pesos up to 1,500 pesos per canister of this size. It is promoted at the internet for people who go to rave parties and just want to be happy. I therefore endorse for scrutiny and tests to the Dangerous Drugs Board, the Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency, the Food and Drug Administration, this item to determine the need for some protocol for its purchase. It contains ethyl chloride, Mr. President, the same almost component or precursor substance of shabu. It is likewise billed as laughing gas, and internet news reveal deaths in its misuse in other parts of the world. This could very well be one of the drugs or substances, according to intelligence reports, used by some of the victims in the concert, or were used on some of the victims, Mr. President. Education and information must ride in tandem with stern law enforcement and prosecution of illegal drug abusers. We wish success to the incoming administration for its anticipated war on illegal drugs. But one more thing, Mr. President, colleagues. The parties of our generation are no longer the parties of this generation. Beatles and Elvis sounds are curiosity pieces for them, and the kind of party across the globe for the youth is called a rave party. Their music is EDM, for electronic dance music. They're dancing non-stop. Their idols are the DJs who spin uncommon repetitive sounds. Sadly, the rave phenomenon is likewise an enabler and facilitator of the illegal drugs trade, use, and abuse. Marijuana and mind-altering substances are openly peddled and presumed. It's a different ballgame, Mr. President. Well, we do not mean to curtail their fun. We just want to stay alive. We just want them to stay alive after the party is over. If we do not act immediately, we might be facing the drug problem with catastrophic proportions, Mr. President. Even if we remove all the pushers in the country, we will be defeated if we do not embark on a serious nationwide rehabilitation program and a massive prevention program nationwide. The summers of the youth are still ahead of them, and it is much too soon for them to experience their summers in the cemetery. And yes, Mr. President, mayroong forever. Our vigilance are watching over our youth that they may survive their youth. Thank you, Mr. President. Good day.
Thank you very much, Senator Soto. The Majority Leader is recognized. Boss.
Mr. President, upon consultation with the Deputy Minority Leader, in cognizance that Congress will soon adjourn, we request that the copy of the speech be given to the Dangerous Drug Board.
The Secretary is directed to do so.
Mr. President, with the consent of the Senate, I move that we transfer House Bill number 5570 under Committee Report number 456 from the calendar for ordinary business to the calendar for special orders.
So transferred.
With the permission of the Senate, I move that we consider House Bill 5570 under Committee Report 456.
Any objection here and consideration of the measure is in order.
With the permission of the body, I move that the Secretary read only the title of the measure.
Secretary will do so.
House Bill number 5570, an act renewing for another 25 years the franchise granted to Ibaan Electric Corporation, formerly Ibaan Electric and Engineering Corporation, to construct, operate, and maintain an electric light, heat, and power system in the municipality of Ibaan Province of Batangas under Republic Act Number 7578.
Mr. President, may I ask for a minute suspension?
1 minute suspension.
Ready to resume, Mr. President.
Session resumed.
Mr. President, I move that we recognize Senator Osmeña to sponsor the measure.
Senator Osmeña is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I rise to present for the Senate's approval House Bill number 5570, covered by Committee Report 456, entitled An Act Renewing for Another 25 Years the Franchise Granted to Ibaan Electric Corporation, formerly Ibaan Electric and Engineering Corporation, to construct, operate, and maintain an electric light, heat, and power system in the municipality of Ibaan, province of Batangas, under Republic Act 7578. This was introduced in the House by Congressmen Mendoza and Teodoro. In 1992, Republic Act 7578 was signed into law by President Corazon Aquino, granting the Ibaan Electric Corporation a franchise to operate an electric generation and distribution utility for a period of 25 years or until 2017. As the exclusive franchise holder, IEC has been authorized to construct, operate, and maintain an electric light, heat, and power system for the purpose of generating and or distributing electric light, heat, and power for sale in the municipality of Ibaan. IEC is a 100% Filipino-owned and managed corporation as evidenced by its 2014 General Information Sheet or GIS submitted to the Securities and Exchange Commission. Public utilities need at least to be 60% Filipino-owned under Section 11 of Article 12 of the 1987 Constitution, which requires that, and I quote, no franchise certificate on any form of authorization for the operation of a public utility shall be granted, except to citizens of the Philippines or to corporations or associations organized under the laws of the Philippines, at least 60% of whose capital is owned by such citizens. End of quote. Mr. President, IEC's continued operation would benefit about 12,000 consumers in the municipality of Ibaan. The committee is convinced that the renewal of IEC's franchise is necessary to address the electricity needs of the residents and commercial establishments in the area. The Energy Regulatory Commission has also expressed its support for the renewal of IEC's franchise term for another 25 years. Thus, the approval of the aforementioned House bill is, as amended by the Senate, is earnestly sought. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, no senator has registered or made known their intention to interpolate, so I move that we close the period of interpolation.
Any objection here, none? So terminated.
Mr. President, I move that we open the period for amendments.
Period for amendment is in order.
May I ask the sponsor if there are any committee amendments?
There are no committee amendments, Mr. President.
Mr. President, there are also no senator has registered or made known their intention to propose individual amendments, so I move that we close the period for amendments.
Period for amendments is terminated.
Mr. President, I move that we approve on second reading House Bill number 5570.
Individual amendments.
Meron-
May we ask if anybody
The
would have
majority
individual
leader
amendments?
has said there are no individual amendments.
No individual amendments. Thank you, Mr. President. We can close.
Mr. President, I move that we approve on second reading House Bill number 5570 under Committee Report number 456.
Any objection? Hearing none. So approve on second reading.
Mr. President, I move that we proceed with the reference of business.
The additional reference of business is in order. This is the 8th additional reference of business.
Eighth additional reference of business. Bill on first reading. Senate number 3227, entitled An Act to Further Strengthen the Anti-Money Laundering Act, amending for the purpose sections 33A, 3B, 3G, 3I, 7, 75, 76, 77, 711, 9A, 9C, 10, 11, 14C, 15, and 16, and repealing Section 20 of Republic Act number 9160, otherwise known as the Anti-Money Laundering Act of 2001 as amended, introduced by Senators Mena III.
Referred to the Committee on Banks, Financial Institutions and Currencies, and Justice and Human Rights. The Majority Leader.
Mr. President, 1 minute suspension.
1 minute suspension. Monday na, suspend until Monday. So that we can just go with the House. The House will... we suspended until Monday so that sabay na tayo sa House. Two? Who? And really? Okay. Ano?
Ready to resume, Mr. President.
Session is resumed.
Sir President, I move that we suspend the session until 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Monday, June 6.
Monday, okay. We would like to give notice that the Monday session, the chair will consider it as a sine die session, so that that's at the same time the House will adjourn their session sine die on Monday. So with that, session is suspended until Monday, June 6 at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.